you know why there is no zombie child in The Walking Dead? In fact, it even exists, but why don't they appear so much? We see very few zombie children on The Walking Dead. If you take all the zombies we've seen in the show, you might not give 1%. And in this world, when the outbreak of The Walking Dead happened, there was much more for sure. So in this video I decided to explain this point, explain everything about this. If you wanna know, stay here and let's go. Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel, my name is Victor and I'm back to talk about The Walking Dead universe again. I'd like to thank you for your feedback in all my videos explaining many points about this show, this universe, but now let's talk about the child in this world. It's almost like we can say there are no zombie children in The Walking Dead. There were even theories about it before, that children who was born after the outbreak didn't get the infection, but in fact there are some proofs that they get it, and because of that we have to explain why do we see so few children in 15 years of The Walking Dead. But first, don't forget to check the like in this video, it helps me a lot with the promotion. Also, if you like more contents about The Walking Dead universe, don't forget to subscribe here. As I used to say for the newcomers, thank you for your patience with my English. This is not my native language, but I'm trying to practice. Let's go. Yeah, here's the point. When we talk about an apocalyptic show that the world has ended, that we also talk about an infection that is spread in the crowd and everything else, we see in several productions that even animals are infected, but in the Walking Dead universe it's not. If you like me to make a video explaining about the animals, go put in the comments. But okay, the point about this video is something that is not clarified in The Walking Dead. I want to talk about the zombified children, taking this example here of a child who appeared recently in this universe. This boy appeared in the last season of The Walking Dead. Maggie finds him zombified. It even increases her concern about Herschel, who was missing, but that's not what we're going to talk about. The question is, why we don't used to see it? We see them very little, only in some very specific moments. It was indeed supposed to appear more, and even to begin it, I want to explain a point about the world population in 2010, which was when the outbreak in this story of The Walking Dead began. In this case, when it all started in 2010, the world population was getting close to 7 billion people. It was around 6.9 billion more or less. That's counting all kinds of people, all ages in the world. But at the same time, that's a strange point comes in. From these 7 billion people, we have around 26% children, which is around 1.8 billion children when the apocalypse of The Walking Dead began. It's a lot of people, a lot of children in this world. But still, when the outbreak of The Walking Dead began, we only saw adult zombies. Since the first season, as I said, we have some specific cases of having a zombie child. We didn't see a gigantic herd that had a lot of children or a field there. 99% of the cases did not. What did they do? Where are them? First, let's mention the occasional cases of zombie children that we have in The Walking Dead. We have to start with Summer, who, ironically, the first zombie that appears in the history of the show is a child. In the first scenes of the show, she appears, that little girl with the teddy bear, all that. The second case was Sophia, Carol's daughter, who was something very tragic and strong when she appeared. She disappeared alive and out of nowhere reappeared zombified. It was like very sinister, very heavy for the time. If you watch it when it released for the first time, you know, without knowing anything, it was so heavy to watch. We also have another disturbing case, but also interesting, is Penny. You know, the governor's daughter, who appeared there in the third season. The little girl who basically he didn't accept her death and simply imprisoned her as if she were a living, a normal person, a human or an animal. But like, all these so far that I have mentioned here have been more cases of the beginning of the apocalypse. All of these examples there until we reach the governor, we are still around a year and a few months since the outbreak began. And then to start explaining the situation better, we have to go to a more recent example. Very recent, even from the end of 2023. I'm talking about Dwayne. Yeah, Morgan's son, who appears at the beginning of The Walking Dead as a child, and then we learned that he died. But over the years, there was no information on his whereabouts. bullets or anything. Only that Morgan would have finished it and it was over, because he was beaten. But in the end of Fear the Walking Dead, the spin-off, we saw something different. In the episode 9 of the season 8, the final season of Fear the Walking Dead, we can see that Morgan left the zombified boy there and couldn't finish it. And now, more than 10 years, like almost 12 years later, he comes back and finds what? The boy there still zombified and a little more deteriorated, but firm, still in shape of a child. He spent almost 12 years as a zombie as a child. He has no evolution or anything like that, which is an important proof for The Walking Dead. We have the confirmation that if a human being dies as a child, it will remain as a zombified child for a long period of time. Okay, I know this is not real, this is part of the fiction too, but this helps more in the explanation of this video because it increases the doubt. Like, if zombie childs don't grow old, why even several years of the outbreak they don't find it anymore? They only find normal zombies. Well, the explanation may lie in disability. We learned that zombies take a long time to rot in this universe of The Walking Dead, a long time to have the decomposition. So several years will pass, one and the other will be linked to the forest, to nature. Even Robert Kirkman, the creator of the original story of The Walking Dead, explained that this happens because of the virus itself that infected them, which makes them stay longer. It is a fictional factor, but it's okay. When a child becomes a zombie, naturally, he becomes a more fragile zombie. So the decomposition process may be a little faster than normal zombies. That would already be a first point. It would not justify everything, but a first point to justify. But of course, it needs more explanation, so let's go. Another point to add to this is that over the years, the characters develop their survivor skills and manage to kill the zombies more easily. Even more so that the zombies in The Walking Dead are not as strong. Apart from the variants there, but most are not as strong and are slow. So the survivors manage to eliminate a large amount. And talking about children, who are slower and weaker still, are much easier for survivors to eliminate as a zombie. This further decreases the population of child zombies. So in this video we already have 2 points, the faster decomposition and the ease of people knocking it down. But then we have more. We've already seen that in The Walking Dead, some zombies in some cases can end up feeding other zombies, especially the newly transformed ones, who have just become zombies not long ago, recently. When you take a person alive in The Walking Dead that a herd attacks, the zombies go there and start biting, eating the flesh, that very crazy thing, and they only stop most likely at the point that the person came back as a normal zombie, or the person was totally destroyed, because that happens too. The person doesn't even come back. Then you put a child in this situation. It is much more likely that children who were caught by herds of zombies or were caught by occasional zombies are much more likely to have nothing left of them because of the zombies themselves, who do it sometimes, even with adult zombies. So that's another very important explanation. At the beginning of it all, most of the children were completely destroyed by the zombies. There was nothing left. Therefore, only adult zombies remain. And you can add to this the fact that they decompose faster. The 3 points there bring a very intense explanation about the zombie children. And what if all this explanation is not enough for you who are watching? Well, there's another big point that it's not a story factor, it's not about the story of the show, it's not a plot explanation there, but it is a factor related to the production, to the behind the scene, which is the children's work day factor. Especially in the United States, where the show was filmed, even the living children of The Walking Dead, many people wonder why they are not well developed, because they don't have much space in the story. It's mainly because of the fact that they can't work as much as adults. They have to work even less than a half the time of adults. There are some regulatory laws that limit children from working in a certain period of time. You have to work very little. For this reason, most productions involving children's series take teenagers, who sometimes are over 18 years old or much older than that, to represent younger people, because then they can have the common working day and do not have this limitation. But when you are working with children, these very younger ones, they have a limited working day. There's also another issue, that is production ethics, which is the issue of emotional impact. Like, The Walking Dead was always supposed to be strong, heavy, but it still has some things to have years to avoid very graphic. Also for adult scenes, there are some agencies and some people that complain. Excessive violence, but it's annoying people who complain about it. But talking about some graphic scenes involving children, they actually have to work to prevent the show from being completely inappropriate for most audience. The more age groups the series can catch, like the age group there doesn't have to be so high. It's better for the audience, it's better for the production, to deliver more, to reach more people. That's another very important explanation about the zombie children. And do you think I stop it? There's that other issue which is about budget. Really, you take a child who is going to work in a production like this, he already has limited hours, you can film only for a few hours there as soon as he has to stop, and he's a normal child who only needs to change his costume there and is even alive. The normal ones in the show does not even need too much makeup, so it's already complicated because he has a little time. Then you take the same child and still have to spend hours doing zombie makeup. You already spent his work time and leave just a little time for him to be able to film the scene. So you have to understand that because of that, the production needs to spend more money and be faster, do more efficient makeup, and it simply makes some of the work unfeasible. These are the explanations for both the story, the physiological part of the zombies, and the production part, the behind the scenes, that they end up fitting into so we don't have so many zombie children in The Walking Dead. Had you stopped to think about all these points I talked about here? Go write in the comments what you think about this explanation, what other point in the story you are curious about to know, to be explained. Don't forget to check the like in this video, this will help a lot, even the promotion. Subscribe to the channel so we can reach 7,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, I'll be back soon, and bye!